Okay, so we're back for part 2, and I have now brought out my TI-84 graphing calculator, which is, I bought this in the US. I want to go back to example number 2 and just show you 6 divided by 2, parentheses, now use the 3 there, okay? The other calculator I used before actually gave me a value of 1. This gives me a value of 9. So the calculators in the US, when it comes to multiplication division, it will do them in the order that they come. When they're next to each other, it'll go left to right. So it's kind of interesting. You can have this argument with your teacher for some of these problems. But again, this is very rare. And so it's not going to come up often, but it is just something to think about. Now we're here at the last section. We only have 3 more problems to do here. And this is evaluate variable expressions. Now again, evaluate just means find the value, get the number. Variables would be like X or A or E. Those are letters that we use to represent unknown numbers. And expressions just mean that we have some kind of combination of variables and numbers with addition and subtraction and exponents and all that. So, directions. Evaluate the following expressions if x equals 3, y equals -2, and z is equal to 4. So what we're going to do here in number 8, we have x minus 2 times y times z. We are going to replace the variables, the letters, with their number values, and then we're going to work it out. So x is the number 3, minus, now I'm going to write this, the y and the z, because I'm dealing with multiplication here, I am going to use parentheses because a number next to parentheses means to multiply. So 2 times y, now the y is -2, so I will substitute that, and then z is +4. All right, so we have to do the order of operations. Now this is subtraction right here, but this is all multiplication. So what I need to do is multiply first. You have choices here. When you multiply these numbers, now I am going to think of this as a -2. The negative is going to go with the number that is right after it. If that's confusing, you can write this as 3 plus -2 times -2 times 4. Adding the opposite of a number is the same as subtraction. What I don't want to happen is that I forget about this. Okay, so I am going to use it when I calculate here. Now I'll go left to right. -2 times -2 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. And 3 plus 16 is 19, and that's it. We're done. Okay, we have evaluated. This is the expression, the variable expression. We have evaluated and come up with the value or number. In number 9, so we have y squared. Now the y value, I will substitute -2 plus 3 times x plus z. X is +3 and z is 4, so I'll just write 3 plus 4. Okay, so we have parentheses here. Since the exponent is separated from this expression by the addition sign, we could actually do this as well if we want to do this at the same time. Now when you square a negative times a negative is a positive, plus, here's the 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. Now we have addition, and this is multiplication. We need to multiply first. So 4 plus, that's 21. And 4 plus 21 is 25. Now, did I do this right? Well, I can type the original expression in. And if I get 25, I can be very confident that I'm correct, and I am. That's my check. And the last one, okay, we got a fraction here. So 1/2 Because I'm multiplying these, I'll use parentheses. So 1/2 times 3 times the z value, which is 4, minus, now this is, you got to be careful here, this is interesting. Subtracting y is subtracting a -2. Now the subtraction sign is already there, but I have to put the negative in front of the 2 because it's a -2. So now we have, this is all multiplication. One of the things about multiplying is that you can multiply in any order with these numbers. So if it's easier for you, you can do 3 times 4, which is 12, and then half of 12 is 6. Or you could do 1/2 times 3, which is 1.5, and 1.5 times 4 is also 6. You could even do 1/2 times 4, which is 2, and 2 times 3 is also 6. So that's kind of a cool property there. Now over here, when you subtract a negative, subtracting a negative makes them both positive. The opposite of a negative is a positive, so that is a +2. And what we get here is 6 plus 2, which is equal to 8. I hope I did that right. But actually, I don't need to hope because I can type 1/2 times 3 times 4, and that was minus a -2. That was the original problem. Do I get 8? Yes. Now, you might be asking yourself, why don't I just go to the calculator at the very beginning? Why should I even write this down and work this out? What's the point? It's really important that you understand, I'll come back here to the top, that you understand the order of operations, that you understand the order that you need to do things. Because as you can see from some of our problems, this was the long one here, there are a lot of places where you can make a mistake by not putting parentheses or by not putting a correct subtraction sign or even a negative sign. If you don't understand the order of operations, you will mistype on the calculator and you will get the wrong answer. And the other thing that needs to happen, the reason why we do it by hand first and work it out, is that at the very end when you check and when you get your answer, oh, it just got erased. But when I look at this, I need to ask myself, does this even make sense? Does it make sense that I got 8? Or should I expect something else? If I type this in and somehow I ended up with 100,000 as my answer with all these small numbers, something in my mind needs to say, wait a minute, something's not correct here. Okay, and so that's really important that you can use the calculator, by all means use it, but you need to use it correctly and you need to keep your brain on so that what you're doing makes sense. And that is the end of the notes.